Thank you for logging back into Vegas Views. This is Dawn Sullivan, and I have Devonna Butler with me today. Now, we were here last week, and Devonna, aka Gina, if you logged in last week, it's just my name for her. She was telling us such an interesting, wild story. So let's back up a little bit for the viewers that had not logged in last week. So let's do like a 30-second quick recap.
Okay, so basically my story is just that I got involved in some trouble as a kid. I was 15 years old and was tried as an adult, and basically did 13 years in women's prison, and we're up to the part where I was getting out.
Okay, so we were up to the part where she was getting out. Now, guys, obviously that sounds super, super interesting. There was so much said. We learned so much. Gina was able to teach us so much here in the studio about the system and what it's like actually, almost, can we say, growing up in prison. So now we're at the point where she gets out. But I want you guys to go back right after this segment. I want you guys to go back and watch last week so you can kind of understand. Okay. So now we left off, you were sentenced to how long?
We were sentenced to 60 years.
60 years.
To do 30.
To do 30. Mm-hmm. And at this point, how long were you in?
At this point, we were in for 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you know that there was even a shot and an opportunity for you to get released?
I actually reached out to some attorneys, and they agreed to take my case pro bono, which that means for free.
So they took your case. This was out without any help. This is you just educating yourself in jail. You were in prison, educating yourself. You got yourself to understand enough that, hey, if I possibly reach out to somebody, they can help you. What was that like?
It was hopeful. It gave me a lot of hope because as a kid in there who really didn't know the law, didn't know my way around it, didn't even know how to get back in front of the judge. Yeah. I was just starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
But I expected that. But I also didn't expect to just gain such an awesome legal team who had my back. And it was more than having my back, because you asked if I had seen like any hope. Well, there were times where they thought even we were going to get out because good behavior, went and educated ourselves and just, did everything that we could do as far as trying to correct the behaviors that we went in with.
Sure.
So the hope kept coming from the attorneys, and then just finding things in the case that, weren't right, weren't legal.
Yeah.
But there was a prosecutor who kept fighting it and kept taking it to the next level. Oh, well, this judge is going to let you out. Well, I'll just file a motion against him letting you out, saying that he's showing favoritism. So just small things. And it went on for 4 years. Yeah. So they got on our case, I want to say in 2005.
Okay.
We were released in 2010. Wow. Yeah.
Talk to me about that. What does 2010 look like for you? And tell me about the moment where they said, like, this is it, you are getting released. What did that feel like?
Okay. I always like to tell this story because it was just a normal day. But I remember just feeling mentally like, when is it going to be over? Like, just everything, everything's good as far as like my family's healthy. Like my mom is okay. She had some struggles with her health, but she was doing good. And I just started feeling like, when is it going to be like over? Like, because my lawyers kept saying, like, we just need to file this, we just need to do this, and then it's just a waiting game. So it had been a waiting game for almost 5 years.
Long.
So I felt like, and also in between that last year, we moved prisons. Okay. So it was like I had moved away from my home.
Sure.
I had been there since I was a child, moving away from my home to serve time in a more correctional type. It just felt like a prison. Yeah. So it was weighing on me mentally, but I just had this little glimmer that, my lawyers just kept saying, because I would express to them, like, it's getting hard. Like, I'm 27 now. Like, I'm not a kid anymore. Like, I'm getting older. I'm growing up. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, do y'all know? Like, does anybody know? And so my counselor came to my door. It was count time. And at this point, they had moved me to the lifer dorm. So you had 25 years and up. Some people wanted to live on that dorm because people who have a long period of time to serve, they want to do it kind of chill for the most part. Like they just want to just...
Is that a thing?
Yes, it's a thing. But it's more like, because the rowdy ones are the ones with the short time. They're just coming in for 3 months.
I would think completely opposite. This is how my brain operates now. I know really nothing about me being in jail. I don't know that, but I would assume that I'd be more afraid to go where people are going to spend longer terms because they don't care. They're already away forever.
It's the opposite mentality.
You would think someone with 3 months would say, "Let me just get this done in 3 months and get in and out of here."
I'll tell you right now, if the OGs, the people who have been there for a long time, and they still have a long time to serve, only thing they're going to risk their time on is escaping. I'm going to just keep it honest with you. I mean, I ain't there no more, so I don't have nothing to worry about. The short-term people, they're the ones who, they kind of come in still with that party mentality. I'm only here, I'm here for 3 months. I get out by summertime. You might see me in winter, just that type of mentality. So they come and they bring the hype to the prison. But the older... I don't want to call them older. Just the people who have served a little bit of time, have more time to serve. They just want to chill. Like, they don't want to be worried about lockdowns and all these other things. I wanted to
ask you this last week, and it slipped my mind, and I said, I have to ask this again. I know you must have been you and your friend must have been some of the younger people in there, but were there young women in there like you?
Yeah. It was a whole dorm full of us. At probably about 2 years after we went to the prison, the whole dorm filled up. So it was almost like they just didn't have nowhere to send these girls. It was just a matter of time.
Sure.
They just needed somewhere to house them.
And one more question I had for you. When you and I were speaking on just a personal level, and I mentioned something about Orange is the New Black, you said it's kind of like that.
It is.
Can you tell me a little bit like that? Are you guys a family? Or is there a little community?
Oh yeah. Communities, families, trust, tribes. It's like that a lot. In the women's prison, not so much gang related. It's more family oriented.
Gotcha.
Which
makes sense.
Kind of the same thing, but it's more like family.
Sure.
So, you cook together, you hang out on holidays together. It is.
I want to talk about you getting out and what is that like. But before I do that, I want to ask, this is such a strange question. Do you ever miss it in there?
I miss the community, like just the feeling of the family.
Okay.
When I got out, I had my family.
Sure.
But I had to kind of get to know my family again because I had been gone away for so long.
Sure.
So
you've already built this group of people. This is the people you woke up to. This is the people you went to sleep to. Your holidays were spent. So that was your
birthdays,
people. Birthdays, everything.
And to the extent sometimes the families on the outside knew about, family members on the inside. Like, where's your sister so-and-so? Or, where's your cousin? Because, you create families like that. And that's
because I was thinking about that too. And I was like, that has got to be a little bit hard because you just, not even just become accustomed to and acclimate, because no matter what, we're all going to acclimate to our surroundings. But that's got to be weird to not have that anymore, to have a different system. But let's move forward, Gina, and let's talk about, so you're getting out. What does this look like?
Well, I don't know that I'm getting out. I never knew that I was getting out until the day that they came to my door and they were like, have you talked to Miss, I won't say her name, but she was the release coordinator.
Okay.
I have 30 years to serve. Why would I be talking to her? So and plus, do you realize when you're on the lifer dorm asking me a question like, what? That don't make no sense. So at the time I had 2 bunkies.
Okay.
And my bunkie goes, you're about to get out. And I was like, hold on. Like everything was just moving so fast. I'm like, okay, maybe she's insinuating that I'm about to get out and she's already caught on to it. I'm like, everybody just be quiet. Because I don't want to overthink this. You don't know, but I've been fighting this for a long time.
And huge to process. Even the thought would be huge to process.
Because it had never been like that real.
Yeah.
It was always like we get letters in the mail from the lawyers or get a phone call and it's like, hey, we're still fighting. And it's like, okay, in the meantime, I just felt like our job was to, just have good behavior and just do what we've been doing. Just mind our business, stay to ourselves. And when she was like, yeah, you were supposed to go talk to Miss O'Neill. And I don't know why. It wasn't connecting for me that you need to talk to Miss O'Neill because you're going home. And I just like it. I didn't process it until I jumped off of my bed and she's like, come to my office. And I'm just shaking like, what is going on right now? And I go out in the hallway and she shows me the paper. And then when I see it for myself, I like almost push her over. I'm like, shut up, shut up. And everybody just started clapping in the hallways and screaming. Like it was the moment that I had been fighting for since I was a little girl.
Now at this time, that gives me chills. Mm-hmm. And at this time, you're educated. You've gotten your education. You did what you needed to do in there. You did all the things. Do you think you would have been able to have that type of education if you hadn't gone to prison?
I don't think I would have taken it as seriously or focused. Like there would have been something like, and me and my family, we joke about it a lot because I was just I was such a hard head.
Sure.
And we all kind of think that experience for setting me down and just growing me up and molding me too, because it wasn't just any old grow up. Like it was a glow up.
Yeah, it was a glow up. That's right. It was a glow up. That's where I want to get to now with you. Okay, so you have this letter. I'm sure you're like ecstatic. You're leaving. How does that work? You pack up your stuff. Do you have stuff? Like, what does this look like?
I had stuff. Well, at this point, because they had changed everything in the prison so much, we no longer had like our own clothes, but we still had like, we were able to have like a piece of jewelry if you were married, belongings. Just like very minimal though. Everything else had to come off a commissary. So like my special things that I had was a crochet blanket that I had made and some jewelry, but I left everything. Like, I don't know. The only thing I took was my letters and my pictures. I just always vowed to myself that I wouldn't take anything physical out of that place. I would leave everything. I didn't care what it was, and I did.
I really like that.
I only brought my pictures and letters.
I really like that. That's so, I get that. I can understand.
And then too, like you're leaving your family behind.
Yeah.
So it's almost like leaving a part of yourself with them. You know, like I'm going on to the next part. Like whatever I have, you take it. You know.
So what did you walk out of jail in? What were you wearing? Tell me.
I don't even remember. Okay. I think it was like, because they have a property room where for people who are getting released can go and pick them out in an outfit. I think it was like some jeans and it was some shorts and a t-shirt. Okay. I don't even know what it was, but it was so ridiculous.
And you were just like, I'm out. You walked out the doors. Now, how did that work out for you? Were you able to call someone? What did that look like?
That part was kind of stressful for me because during the time, I don't think my mom's car was working.
Okay.
And she had to get a ride up there to get me. It took her all day. Yeah. She didn't make it up there till 4 o'clock. I was released at 8 a.m. Yeah. I told her when she got up there, I said, I'm not going to try to ruin this moment right now. But I could have walked home faster than this. But they won't release you unless you have to be released into someone's custody.
So you're sitting there from 8 a.m. to 4, like, Mom, hurry up. Mom, get me out of this place. You don't even
know. That was the worst day of my life locked up. That was the worst. The day getting out was the worst day because I was just like, I got everybody sitting here looking at me.
And every
time they see me, they're like, I thought you were going home. I thought you were going home. I'm like, I thought it was too.
And I'm sure a lot of time to think and reflect and to sit there and say, whoa, what is really happening? That must have been so surreal. Like, you wake up that morning not realizing you're going home.
I knew I was going home. So they told us the night before.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So we knew that we were going home. We just had to have our ride ready for 8 a.m. when the release coordinator gets into work.
Gotcha.
So my co-defendant left at 8 a.m.
So back to her again. She came in with you. Mm-hmm. She went out with you.
Yeah.
The whole entire jail sentence, she was with you.
The whole ride. Yeah.
Today, do you talk to her?
Yeah. Yeah. She stayed back home. She kind of moved different places to get her feet grounded. But I think home was initially where she found her place where she could grow and flourish.
Sure. Where was your growth? You get out, and what did you say? What was your MO? What were you doing with your life? Did you even know?
I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I just knew that I needed to stay on track. Like everything I learned in there, I need to stay on track. Because once I got home, I don't know why in my head I was expecting people to still like, I don't know, look like the teenagers that I left. I guess in my mind, I still looked like the teenager that I left them.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, nobody looks the same. Like, and then the sad part was like, I could tell life was lifing on all of them. And they were just making bad decisions and just like, and I won't say everybody, but 80%. And in that moment, I knew.
You had to get out of there.
I had to get out of there. But the first week I had to go, I was in prison in Indianapolis, Indiana. My family all lived in Kentucky. So technically there's a state line.
Sure.
Legally, if I was on paper, I would have to have permission to go back and forth. As crazy as it is, that's how it is. But so the first week that I was out, literally within 24 hours, I went back up to Indianapolis and I stayed with Miss Flynn for a week. She no longer worked for the prison, so it was totally fine. Yeah. And I stayed with her for a week and she helped me get my cosmetology license because I just, I had to do things. I had to go down to the government offices and just get paperwork that I had done in prison that the government has a copy of it, but I need it so that I can actually function out here. So she helped me do all of those things that first week. The second week I went back down home and I knew. I said, I don't know where I'm going to go, but it ain't here. And I didn't like the vibe of the reporters wanting to talk to me all the time. Like, not to mention, I was let out with $75 and one outfit. So, I mean, like, I got to get things together and nobody's talking about
and you're grown.
Interviewing for money. So, like, I just would rather live a life where I can work a normal job and people not harass me on my job. So me and my family came up with the idea of me moving out here because I had family out here and quite a bit of family. So that was willing to help, just get me back on my feet.
So you were 27 at this point. So you moved to Las Vegas when you were 27? So 27 years old, you moved to Las Vegas. What are you doing? What do you do?
Nothing. I'm looking for a job. I just remember just looking for a job, just wherever I could go looking for a job.
Did you like it here? Did you like the weather here? Did you like the people here?
I remember thinking it was too bright. I remember doing this a lot. Like,
it is too bright.
It's so bright out here.
Right.
And then I noticed that it never rained. I'm like, okay, I like that too. I'm from the Midwest, so rain and cloudiness is the thing. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
But out here, the mood is happy because of just
sunshine.
Yeah, the sunshine. Yeah. So I noticed that difference, and then I noticed that everybody wears workout clothes everywhere. So I was like,
hence my outfit
today.
Give
me some workout clothes. So that was the two things, and then I just knew that my uncle, he actually was the one who got me the ticket. But it was a buddy pass, if y'all don't think about buddy passes. And he just told me, he was like, I don't really see you doing you here. He's like, but take this, and if you want to come back, there's a return ticket. Yeah. Totally up to you. I never used the return ticket. 14 years later.
I love that for you. I love that for you. It's so wild because me looking at you, knowing you, working with you. She's one of my actresses, one of my models as well. There's so much in you that you're such a cool, smart, awesome lady. And when you tell the story, I'm like, Gina, wow. Like, it's like if you would have told, if I didn't know that and I can say, oh, this was Gina's life, I would never in a million years think that's your story, ever.
And that was I don't want to say I wanted to like fool people. I just wanted the chance to build a life for myself without
that
all the talk in my ear. Like the worry, you're gonna apply for that job. You have. I just let me make the mistakes without the judgment. Yeah. And that was my concern. Like the smallest thing I do, they're gonna make a big deal out of it because of what happened.
Sure.
So I just wanted to come somewhere, not where nobody knew me, but just where, like, if I told people about it, not that they wouldn't be like, you don't look like you do something like that, but more like, dang, like, like, you're cool. Like, I would never, I would never. So that was more of how I felt safest re-entering society, because there was no plan.
Yeah.
It was literally like, here's $50, good luck.
You are such a successful woman. You have a beautiful life. I know your life person. I know your stuff. Like, you're just so beautiful and so successful. And you got everything going. You glowed up, growed up, leveled up, all up, everything up. You did. Where was a point for you where you were like, oh, I'm succeeding. I'm doing good. I'm all right. When did you say, like, all right, I did the whole jail thing. I did the education thing. I know you still were on to continue education. I know that. But, like, where did you say, oh, I'm doing good? Like I am all right.
I think that moment for me was when we closed on our first house, me and my husband. And I was just like...
Is it okay to talk about the husband?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the husband, because I know him. And he is cool. And he is so
he loves
deeply...
Don.
He is so deeply in love with her that it is like...
Jessica Rapid. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'll interview her. Because you rap.
Because I rap.
Rapid.
Oh my
he
God.
gave you a whole new name.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Rabbit. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And not many people know that about me too. Okay, that's so funny.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. This girl was rapping with my husband. I was like, I don't even know these songs.
Fun fact. Okay, I love this. Okay, we're sharing about me a little bit today. Fun fact about anyone doesn't really know me or know me on that personal level, because only personal people know this about me, but I know every song lyric to every single hip-hop song you can think of. So if you'd like to call in, studio audience, and just hit me with 2 lyrics.
Quizzer. I bet you won't win.
No, I will hit you back with any song. Her husband and I were going on and on. We were not stumping each other. He's good too. He knows everything about the hip-hop game. Oh yeah, but anyway, that's so much fun. Jessica Rabbit. I love that. Oh my God, I love it. That's so exciting. So let's talk about him for a second. Where did you meet him? And he's a fantastic human being. Fantastic. Where did you meet him?
So I was looking for a job, and I walked into his aunt owned a barbershop on the side of town that we live on. And it was like one of the very few Black establishments where, like, I didn't have to go and be a receptionist, where I could actually go in and be a stylist, do hair. Mm-hmm. So found her on Craigslist, and it was legit. So I went and took my resume. They lost it. He lost it. And then I went back, and I think he lost the resume again. And his aunt was just like, girl, just come on. Just bring your license and come on. I'm not fooling with them. But speed it up again. We got not locked in the barbershop, but I was new, so I didn't have a key. Sure. And he didn't want to leave me just outside in the dark without a key, not really knowing. And so he was cool enough to sit in there until my ride got there, which was my brother.
What a gentleman.
Yeah, such a gentleman. So we were talking, just, like talking about ourselves. And that was the first time that I had ever told anybody, like, my story. And he didn't believe me. And he went home and Googled me. And when he told me he did that, I didn't know what Google was. I was still only out for like 4 months, right? I didn't know what Google was. And I'm like, you Googled me? And he was like, you weren't lying. I Googled you. And I was like, why would somebody lie about something like that? I said, you must meet some crazy people.
Yeah.
So that was how we met. And he thought I was lying, which I get it, but I wasn't lying.
That's another question I did have for you. Technology from the time you went in. So what year did you go in?
97.
1997 to 2010. Mm-hmm. My goodness, everything was different. So when you got out, were you like even weird with the phones, with like what's going on, like what's a smartphone, like were you?
That's so funny you asked that, because I'm still weird with phones today. I hung up on you on accident. I wasn't even I was trying to answer the phone. I'm like, but anybody that knows me, like, they know that I'm still not good with phones. And my husband, he looks at my missed messages. He's like, you literally have 400 missed texts. Like, what is wrong with you?
Is the technology cool for you, or is it weird?
It's cool, but for me, it's like, I don't need that. I survived off pen and paper.
Oh, you're my girl. Gina, I just love you. I am. Don't get me wrong.
So that's why when I'm in class, I have a notebook.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not all tech savvy. I have a
am
notebook.
so old school like that too. Don't get me wrong. I have my iPad. You see me with all my electronics. My whole world was very electronic. But when it comes to something important, math, money, something like that, give me that pen and paper. Anything that's truly important,
Give me the notebook.
give me the notebook. I'm old school like that as well because my brain won't do wrong. Like I don't trust the calculator. I don't trust the technology.
Yeah.
I'll hand you a letter than send you an email. I'd much
I'll
rather
hand
do
you
that, right?
send you an email. Yes. Yes. Let me just write you back.
I think we're going to break. I think we have 2 minutes to our commercial break, but this story is not only so fascinating. You meet the husband, you're there, you guys get together. Did you know, like, okay, this is a good guy. This is a well-rounded, nice man. You weren't dating or anything. You were kind of just in your own lane, living your own life.
In my own lane, traumatized. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm trying to learn how to drive. I'm trying to learn how to do everything.
Aww.
So I'm busy, but I guess outsiders don't see that because they don't know what's really going on the inside. But what made me fall in love with him, we weren't even talking or nothing. He was fighting for custody of his daughter. And I just was like, I've never heard a man like just going and fighting like that for a child, let alone a little girl, like whose mom was fine. Like she didn't, it was just, she was trying to move out of the state. And he was like, you're not taking my kid. And I just thought that said a lot about the person. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, he's cool. And we became friends. But at that time I was going back and forth. My mom still lived in Kentucky and I was still kind of like, I'm home. I can see her whenever I want. I don't have to wait for her to come see me. I'm going home. Yeah. I'll be back. So it was a lot of that in the beginning. So we were just friends. But I think that January, I decided to kind of lock in here a little more. Sure. And that's when me and him started going out, hanging out. And I'm like, is this what dating is? Are we dating right now? I don't know how to do this. Yeah, I do this. Am I doing this right? He's like, yeah, just follow me. So
if we were to, I know I have some such tricky questions for you, but if we were to rewind back to when you were a teen, in jail, just surviving, living, not even growing, but not even know what's up and going on, and someone fast forwarded and said, this is your life at this age, with this beautiful husband, this beautiful life, this successful world you live in, the things you do, you're in the arts, I mean, there's nothing you don't do. Would you believe you?
The only thing I believed at that point was my vision board. Like, that was what I had put on my vision board, but not in such detail. Just me being out.
So these things you kind of knew.
With the car. A little black car, too. That's so funny. My little black car. So I just the small things. It wasn't like anything. I never thought I would be married. I never thought I would have children. Especially once I was still in there at like 25. Yeah. I don't know why in my head I was just like, yeah, well, you know, you'll just be a great aunt. Yeah. You'll be an awesome auntie. Yeah. And so I took my role very seriously. Yeah. And then at 29, I got pregnant with my first baby. Yep. Never seen none of that coming.
So for you, could you say this is like a perfect life? You must be so grateful for what you've done, for the amount of just energy that you put into being who you are. Yeah. I love that.
It is.
Because when you look at you, you know you put work in. Yeah. You look at you and not only are you physically beautiful, but you know there's work put in there too. And I find that those are the best kind of people. We can all be lazy in this world and do whatever life hands us and live like that, but no, there's more. And you got to try to be the best version of yourself. And for you, I could tell there's just work, constant. Let me ask you, when you first started working, because these things are just popping into my head, when you first started working, were you a great employee?
I feel like, I don't know. I don't think I was a good employee. I don't think I'm a good employee. Only because, one, I'm a Virgo. And two, like, just kind of being in the hair industry, like, you always kind of work for yourself. So every time I tried to work, like, in a hair situation, it's always been hair but it was either corporate hair or self-employed hair. Yeah. But the corporate hair was just kind of difficult for me because I couldn't just create. I had to worry about all these other little facets, but it wasn't necessarily teaching me how to be a better stylist. It was just teaching me how to be better corporately for another person's business. Makes sense. So for that, I wasn't a good employee because I'm like, honestly, now I'm just here for the salary. Yeah.
I ask that question because I do employ people in my business as long as there's nothing against children.
That was a trick question.
Crimes.
What, Maria?
No.
What?
No.
You're fired.
No, I do. And I do have someone on staff currently and someone a couple of years ago that worked with me. And I will tell you, people in prison, from my experience, make the best employees.
Oh, yeah. In that, yes. Oh, no. In that aspect,
best employees.
yes.
On time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always like, you're here before everybody else. Everything is done. It's like
We don't want no write-ups.
It's like amazing. And I say, like, and I joke with this person and say, God, jail has done you so good, because they're not like regular people that have never been to jail. Like, they're late, they're this, my stomach hurts, never calls off sick. It's almost amazing. And I think maybe because prison is so structured that you have to learn that way. We've got to be back in 2 seconds before my commercial break happens, because my producer is like, Dawn, stop talking. We'll be right back after these messages.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Got Films is a full-service production company that provides motion picture quality content and production services for use in the film and TV industry. Looking for a seasoned crew, high-quality equipment, or other production services for your film, TV, commercial, corporate convention, sports, news, or interview project? Your search stops here. Some of our projects include NASCAR, American Restoration, Pawn Stars, Counting Cars, Top Chef, BattleBots, Forge and Fire, and Street Outlaws. We have also produced over 60 feature films and documentaries. We're ready for all your needs. Whatever your project, whatever your budget, big or small, Got Films got you. GotFilms.com.
Welcome back, Vegas Views. I have my guest here today. We were just in an amazing conversation about a wonderful story. Actually, can I say that at this point, because of what your life is like now? You have a wonderful story.
Yeah, it is.
Question of all questions. I'm sure people have asked you this. Would you take it back?
And I always say the same thing. No. I hate that it happened the way that it happened, but the way that life turned out in the end, I do understand why things happen. You know, just, you don't see in hindsight, like, the decision you're making and how it's gonna affect your life, because my life was kind of supposed to end there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just never saw it ending there. I never saw me being there until I was older, or I just knew that something wasn't right and I will get a second chance. I didn't know how it was going to come. I just knew that it wasn't going to be easy.
When you were in, did you have faith in God? Did you believe in God? Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I did. I had very strong faith, but I started reading the book called The Secret. And that's what really helped me hone into my faith and hone into my relationship with God, because I'm like, what am I not getting right here? Like, is my faith not the size of a mustard seed? Is it the size of a grain of salt? What do I need to do? Like, and that's a whole nother process in there.
Sure.
Like, your family thinks you're going crazy because, you know, you start talking religious and just different things. There's so many different levels. Yes.
Is that a thing? Because I do, in my church currently, I go and represent Central Christian. I go to the Henderson campus, but we have a number of different campuses. There's one right here by my house in Summerlin, but I go to the Henderson one. I just love it out there. And we have there God Behind Bars. So they do God Behind Bars. Every week they pop on, and we are part of the God Behind Bars. And that's kind of like a thing, huh?
Yeah.
People will call back home from prison, and then they're like, oh, they're just in jail, so they're thinking all this stuff. But really, it's God touching them.
Yeah.
It is God touching them. He's everywhere. you know this, and yeah, so when we work with God behind bars, I find that as well. So, but it's a thing for you, right? People think you're losing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On the other side, but shout out to all the volunteers. First of all, I just wanted to say that because without you guys, a lot of times, like we don't have family in there, and sometimes we do have family, but they just like they can't make it to see us, or just things go on, and the volunteers really stepped in and just helped make doing time just a little easier. And I know that prison is not where they want it to be looked upon as like they're having too much fun or anything like that, but we will be back into society one day.
Yeah.
So you can't expect to treat the prisoners like animals, and then when you open the door, expect them to act like humans.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I just wanted to put it out there, like if you're a guard or something and you work in an institution, like just don't leave your heart at home. Like I know that you have a job to do, but don't leave your heart at home, because sometimes the conversations that you have with those inmates is the very reason why they didn't take their life that night.
Wow.
And I'm being very
That
serious.
is so profound, so impactful. So this is really good, because not only are you teaching people right now, you're putting a word out. Do most guards, I don't want to say do most, I don't like using that.
All heroes don't wear capes. Some of them wear
Yes, don't wear capes.
Yeah.
I love that some wear uniforms.
Yeah.
When you were away, would you say most guards were okay or not necessarily?
You have your levels. You have your I'm here for the check and the check only. I don't care about what you're going through.
Yeah.
You have the ones who do care, and then you got the ones who care too much.
And then you have your power
Your
people.
fraternizers.
Then you have your power people.
Yeah, the power people are up here who are there.
The worst.
It's more about the money and the rules and enforcing it, and what they look like to their captain or lieutenant. And then you have the people who, like it's a job, but they do understand that they're working with humans.
And they care.
It's like a zoo.
And
It
they
is.
care.
It's like we got these animals in here, but
It happens.
somebody's got to take care of them.
It happens a lot where people do get romantically involved, guards to inmates. That is a huge
All the
thing.
time.
Yes. Huge thing.
We're humans.
How illegal is that?
So illegal.
It is.
So, and it's illegal because technically the inmate can't give permission. Like I can't consent to this relationship we have, even though I'm consenting. I'm consenting all day. I'm in love with you.
Consenting, but I'm not allowed to
Legally,
have the right.
I don't even have the right to tell you yes. So that's where the
it becomes
law
illegal.
Yes, that's where it becomes illegal, because you're a property of the state. Or in my you're the guard. I'm the inmate. I'm property of the state, and you're taking advantage of property of the state. So that's why it's always such a big deal made out of it.
Yeah.
And then in our prison in particular, where the youthful offenders were housed, it was still going on.
And they're minors. So that's like a double whammy right there.
Double
That's
whammy.
like a double whammy, because they're minors, and then they can't even consent to their own, which I understand completely. Which also a minor child, even in that mind frame, they're still not developed enough to even know what they're doing anyway. So that's just
Yeah.
And
And that's just something, and it happened all the time, every day.
yeah, I may get some heat for this, because I get heat for everything, but that's okay. And I have a couple answers to answer questions that have been asked to me on Instagram that I will answer later today. But I might get heat for this. But what do you think about Kim Kardashian and the work that she does? Are you aware of the work she does in the jail system?
I am.
Okay.
I actually love what she's doing. If it frees an innocent person or a wrongful conviction, I'm 100% with that, because I was guilty in committing a crime.
Yeah.
And I had to do the time for that.
Yeah.
But I knew people who did not do the crime, and they were serving time, and they were just like, it's so hard to come to grips with that as a human.
Yeah.
And then, you're looking at your friend and you're hoping for their freedom almost more than your own.
Yeah.
So I I love and I stand for the work that
I
she does.
love the work that Kim
Mhm.
Kardashian does. She gets so much heat, and just in the fashion industry, in this industry. Now she's acting, and there's so much. I love her. I adore her. I love her fashion line. I will rep her Skims today. I do.
Shout out
I will shout out to
Skims.
Skims. Yes, but I most of all, beyond all that, the fashion, the celebrity, and the all of what she stands for. Amazing, great work. But the biggest thing is she truly cares about humans. And if you really dive deep into the things that she's doing, she is doing more than we know in this country. She is getting people out of jail left and right who should not be in the prison system.
Yeah.
There are some cases that I've read into, just horrific, sad stories where people are sitting there and they're in there because they just have a public defender who's just like, that's it, that's your story. I'm going to point at you and say, that's your story. And then it takes someone like a celebrity to come in and say, that's not your story.
So easily. And the main attorney who took our case, she did the same thing in Chicago.
Yeah.
So the attorneys that took our case were from Northwestern University in Chicago. And years prior, she had just gotten a bunch of people for the death penalty off. She had got, her name's Juliet Yockel, and y'all can look her up. But just like the work that she did, and when she came, I was like, it was hard for me to like fathom, because I'm like, but I did what they said that I did. Like, I don't know how you get me out of that. Like, how do you do that? And they were like, but you were a child.
Yeah. That's all I can think. When I hear your story, I feel for you, because I look at you and I say, I just see this beautiful grown woman, but I think of the child version of you, and I think, oh, poor baby, if I had her, that I could have hugged her and said, hey, this is a different life. We don't want to make these, let's not hang out with these friends. And there's so many coulda, woulda, shouldas. And obviously it happened the way it happened, and it built you, so that's amazing. But when you think of the child part of it, it's like, I just want to hug you and say, okay, we don't need to hang out with these guys right now and do these things and get ourselves wrapped up into this and that. And it happens all over our country. The problem here is, how do we, with our country in America, how do we prevent that? How do we take some of these young girls and young boys and say, let's not hang out with this and this type of kid? But that's all you're surrounded with. You're surrounded with people that are growing up in a situation where that's what they're left. Those are the devices. Let's hang out, do this, get bored, and not make good decisions.
So the mom in me, I mom that way. I mom the kid in me.
Do you mom the kid in you?
And
I love that.
That's the parent that I am.
Yeah.
And I do get, I get in trouble a little bit sometimes from my husband. He's like, you need to tighten up. And his tighten up is just be a little more strict.
Yeah.
But I do have my strict ways. Like,
Yeah.
my kids don't leave my sight for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's just my thing. You know what I mean? Like,
how old are your babies?
I have 12, 8, and 6.
12,
And 23. I have 23, 12, 8, and 6.
They shouldn't be leaving your sight, my opinion.
Yeah.
This world is so wild right now. Everything going on in America, and just anywhere. Let's not even say America, anywhere. They're young, impressionable. This world is crazy. Are you a little insane with them?
I am. Yeah. Because, like, they're still kids.
I don't know. I never talked about this, but I kind of knew you were probably a little insane.
And I just, like...
Do they know your story?
So my 12-year-old, she's starting to... Like, she'll hear me talk, because I'm not ashamed of it.
Sure.
But I guess I didn't realize that I'm like Beyonce in their eyes or something. Because when I told them, they were like, what? Wait, what? I was like, nothing. Never mind. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it at a later date. Because I noticed how they responded so genuinely, and they were just like grossed out. Like, they was like, who's this, security?
You're our mom. What'd you do? Where were you, mom?
So yeah, my two little ones, they were like, okay, all right. But then my 12-year-old was like, what?
You, mom?
Yeah, give me the details.
Tell me everything.
Oh, your drama.
Oh.
So yeah, I've tried, but that'll be a whole other podcast.
You're for
me
the
telling
most
my
part
kids.
transparent with them, but
I am.
You're on top of them. You stay with them. You don't leave them alone.
Yep, don't leave them alone. I get on their nerves.
I love that.
23-year-old too.
I love that. That is so healthy and so good. And we're not knocking any parents out there. There's no judgment out here. If you're a single mom or you are a married mom or whatever your situation is and you can't be there 24/7 on with your kids and whatever, nobody is judging anybody. We're just putting it out there with our personal beliefs that you got to stay on top of them. And experience, beliefs and experience that you got to stay on top of them because it's so scary. It's dangerous the minute you kind of let them go into other hands. You don't know where they're going and what they're doing, what they're seeing, what they're saying, what they're...
And they're not going to tell you because I didn't tell my mom. I got weirder and weirder and weirder. And that was, and weirder meaning like I just stayed away because I knew I wasn't doing right.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't doing what she expected of me as far as just like, I was wrapped up with the wrong crowd. So I'm expelled from school. So that gives you all the information you need on a 15-year-old expelled from school.
This day and age with media. In my opinion, it's probably 1,000 times worse. You physically had to go hang out with your friends, get your ride back and forth, go do that, and you still got yourself into a mess. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the phones nowadays? You can go in quick and there's so much.
I know it.
There's so much. It moves so fast. It moves so quickly. Yeah. Kids can get into it these days. This is so insane. I had somebody on a show not too long ago, but children are ordering drugs on Snapchat. You can order your drugs to your house these days. Like, yeah.
See, and that's why. Mm-hmm. That's why. Because, see, if my kids order drugs to the house, I'll be the one opening the door. Okay? I'm opening the door. All right? And I'm calling the police.
But it's true.
Everybody in this party. This whole thing's out of control.
They're going to be like, she learned her lesson.
Yeah.
See what she's now.
I tell my kids all the time, you don't want me to go to jail, do you? Then you got to go to school. I don't want to go to school today. I don't want to go to jail today.
We're going to do it mom's way.
Even trade.
I love that. Social media, huge thing right now, though, and it's dangerous. It's all dangerous, but I think we keep having moms like you and that stay on top of their kids and know what's going on and follow them and be annoying, be obnoxious, be the mom where they're like, I can't stand her right now. They'll be able to stand you when they're in their 20s and 30s and they live beautiful, happy, healthy.
And I know that for a fact.
Lives. Yes.
Because we have a 23-year-old
who probably
she hates me less and less every day.
Yes.
That's why I don't hate you. I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay. That's wearing off. As your frontal cortex develops, you can feel your heart getting warmer, kid.
And you don't care if they dislike you.
I don't care.
I love that.
No.
Guys at home, listen to this. Stop caring if your kids like you so much. It's okay when they're older and they're safe and they're educated and they're happy and they're in their life and they're doing everything you wanted them to do and your vision board for them is working out. It's because you literally didn't care if they're mad at you, because I do see this a lot in our business. We work with a lot of the little ones, the teens and stuff like that in modeling and acting. We get the parents sometimes that are helicoptered. I love the helicopter parents. I do.
I'm drop and roll. They call me drop and roll helicopter because I'm over the scene, but I'm dropping kids off left and right. If I gave you $300 this month to teach them something, you're gonna do a little babysitting too, okay? They auntie now.
She's doing comedy now. It's her next album. She's gonna do what you imagine. That'd be cool. Okay, we could do like a prison to comedy.
You're right, prison to comedy. The prison to comedy
for
podcast.
To comedy. That's I like it. We'll talk about it. The new show. No, our producer's like, stop with the new shows. 2 minutes, you guys. We have 2 minutes. Are we ending in 2 minutes? Or do we have a commercial break? Oh, we're going for a commercial in 2. Okay. What we were saying about children, though, helicopter parents, I think it is fantastic. If you can't, and that's what your life is, and you can't, that's one thing, but stay on top of these babies. They're just babies until their brain is right. And
for real.
I see it in our business where the moms are like, oh no, but I don't want her to be upset at me. I want her to be able to tell me everything. I don't want her to be scared to talk to me.
They'll tell you everything eventually.
They'll tell you everything eventually, but they need a little fear. They need a little bit of like, oh, I want a consequence. Because with no consequence, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
That is
sheltered little brats.
Sheltered little brats.
Yep.
I won't say any names, but I had a little girl this week who hit her mom in front of me. I stopped completely what I was doing, and I just said, yeah, this isn't going to work out. And the mom's like, oh, she gets like that sometimes. Not in my studio.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch, not on my TV, not on my business. No, you can go elsewhere to hit your mama. No. So that's like, there's got to be a respect. There's got to be, for the most part, we got a lot of good moms out there. We do. But, life is hard. It's not easy. And we'll get into this after our commercial break. And I know you can understand this, but we get the unhealed moms with the unhealed kids. And then we're hurting for certain. We're definitely not in a good spot. So that's where it kind of...
So for me, it was the unhealed grandma for my kids.
Yeah.
And I was the mediator. Yeah. Because I had to be like, you can't talk to them like that.
Oh, wow.
You can't... Hold on now.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to set boundaries coming in.
So when we ask you, we hear a lot about breaking generational curses. That's you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
cut the lines.
I
love that. Oh, when we get back after this commercial break, can we get into that a little bit of cutting those cords and cutting those lines? Because I know that firsthand. That's amazing. We'll be right back. Vegas Views.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. If you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
And welcome to the next exciting episode of
Arena War.
Fresh batch of institutionalized gladiators fighting for their freedom.
Ready, here we go.
You guys heard Perez?
Yes, smell that.
Get back!
Those on the line. The parole board has offered you a ticket out. Win Arena Wars, win your freedom. 7 arenas with 7 of the most vicious killers the world has seen in the last decade. You make it out alive, you get to go home.
Luke Bender. You're an innocent man. Innocent man can mean big ratings. I'll be watching.
I think it's time to audition Mr. Bender.
No!
What was your last physical?
Cell block shower this morning. Oh yeah.
You ready for this? Hoorah.
Impressive showing out there tonight. You're the new fan favorite.
Are you with me?
Cutie pie back for the kill.
If you want to live through this, we have to work together. I'm watching you.
Smile for the camera, thug life.
Wow!
It's go time!
We have to finish this.
Come on! Hell yeah!
Doesn't sound much like rehabilitation, does it?
Vegas Views, Dawn Sullivan. This has been such an incredible interview, and just chat. I love hanging out with you. I feel like I can do this all the time. So on commercial break, we were just having a conversation about basically generational curses and cutting cords to generational curses and the way that we grow up and how it impacts us as adults and what we can do with our children and the next generation to help them out. So let's dive into that a little bit. So the way you speak to your kids, let's talk about that.
There's still a little bit of the old school in me.
Okay.
I will threaten them to no end. But I noticed that it's the shock value that gets the attention.
Sure.
Versus actually doing what I say I'm going to do. I think they've got me figured out by now. I ain't gonna do nothing. But it was just the way that people talk to my children.
Sure.
You're either going to speak life into them or you're going to speak something else into them, and I ain't with all that.
Sure.
So and just laying boundaries out. Like I mean, like, I'm not perfect. I'm a mom, but I have to remember that.
Yeah.
Because even as a mom, when I'm correcting them, sometimes I'm like, was I too hard? Because I can get rough.
Yeah.
As far as like just knowing that they have to have structure.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the difference. I understand, and that's why I say I wouldn't change me going through that, because I needed that structure, and I just don't know in between those 13 years where that was going to come from.
That was my question as well, and I even know with myself in my own situation, I would think to myself sometimes, 10, 15 years after something happens, thank goodness that happened to me. Well, back then it was, oh my God, why me? This is horrific. But I realize now, oh, thank goodness, because this has formed and shaped and made me everything I am, and really horrific things that may have happened to me are now the best things about me. I work in the fields I work in pretty much my whole life, but all of my outside things that I do with the church and with the jails and with the homeless community and battered women and everything else that I do because of my experience, and I help a lot and I'm able to grow because of it. I wouldn't have had any of that without my experiences. I wouldn't have cared. To be honest, the path I was going in my life, I wouldn't have cared. Do you kind of feel that way, that now, like, I say for me, but and I'll say it like this, but God actually gave you your things.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean by that? God gave you your things.
Me and my husband, we joke and we're like, because I'm from Kentucky and he's like from here, and I'm like, I'm thinking about how I moved out here so fast, and I'm like, definitely God was involved in that. Like, I was moving so fast, almost like just I was daydreaming, and that's what I was telling y'all before we while we were in break. But just the feeling, it was like Christmas every day. So sometimes I think back and I think about that, just that whole year, because every day it was just like, is this for real? Like, is this for real? Am I really out? Am I really free? I could just walk outside and just walk. And I did that a couple of times out here and didn't really know the heat and how it... I almost passed out a few times just trying to bask in nature out here in the desert. Nobody tell me. But I just... That's how I raise my kids. Like, my son, my baby boy, he's my miracle. So now at the age that I'm at, I'm 43 now, so looking at him, like, I wasn't supposed to even have him. My tubes were tied. On top of, I was 38. So I'm just like, I'm frustrated, pregnant, because I'm like,
that was
I got
God
this other
saying,
little one running around. I'm like, okay,
but that was God saying, no, you're having that baby. That's your baby.
These are the moments where pressure creates diamonds. And then after his first year, like, I remember it being really hard emotionally, mentally, that first year of his life, because I still had a 2-year-old. And they had the same birthday. So it was just like the same energy, running around all the time.
They were born the same day.
Same day.
Do you know how special and rare that is? What is their birthday?
June 22nd.
That is so special and rare. I did not know that.
Yep. Born on the same day. So
I love
after
that.
about a year of him growing up, I started to see why. Like, God normally doesn't show you why for a while. And it was like immediately, because I guess God was like, I really took you through it with this one. Just, I thought I was done. Like, I thought I was done. I'm like, we get her in kindergarten, we're good. We can kind of live life a little bit. And then I popped up pregnant with my tubes tied. I was like, whoa. I didn't feel like I needed to pray about this, Lord. I thought we had this figured out. And then it of course, it was deeper than me. So about a year into it, my son starts talking and walking, and I'm like, and I'm having a hard time with this little girl, my baby girl. I'm just like, Lord, where is she gonna fit into the world? Because I don't know. Okay, my middle child, she's taking me through it. But my son, he just comes in and he just, and then he told us one day, he said, I was just sent here to help. He's 6. He was 4 when he told us this.
I was sent here to help.
I was sent here to help.
Oh, it's never our plan. It's always God's plan. I love that.
So I looked at my husband and I said, I told you.
Wow.
But I told him all these things while I was pregnant, so he just thought I was crazy Mary with an immaculate conception. He's like,
how did this happen? But that is just so incredible. And does your little boy understand that, like, you were really truly sent here? I mean, we're all truly sent here, but does he get it?
He does get it. He may not get it, but he's special, and he knows that he's special. Like, he's different. Like, he came not the same way the girls came. The girls were kind of expected, but...
So wait a second. You have your eldest is a little girl, a girl.
23.
Girl.
Boy. Yeah.
I thought there was your eldest boy, girl. So wait, the baby that you were not even supposed to be having, that you had, is your only boy.
Only boy.
Oh, God needed you to be a boy mom.
Yep. Baby boy, too. Well, you want to see my heart ripped out of my chest and thrown onto the pavement? Look at him. Just look at his face. He can get away with anything. So that's where the challenge is for me. Being an older mother with this precious little miracle baby boy and trying to still show structure and be,
that's so hard.
Like I've been with the girls, because the girls would be, you gonna let?
Yeah. Of course you are. He's your baby boy.
And he'll just come and be like, Mom, you need a back rub. Meanwhile, they're like, take me to Sephora.
Your son says you need a back rub. Your girl say take you to Sephora.
Take me
That's
now.
So typical. That is
take
so funny.
me now.
There's no love like a son's love, huh? Does
That's
he
what
have
they
your
say.
whole heart? It's it, right? It's a
I don't even fight it anymore. I don't even fight, because at first my husband was like, look at you. And I didn't realize people could see how I look at my son, you know? Like, he's just a baby, you know?
Yeah.
And I still look at him like that today, but it's because in my mind, he's the last little baby I'll ever have. So it's just like, I have to...
But he's a boy.
I just have to
too,
cherish
more
every
than that.
moment. Yeah. And then I look at my daughters too. I'm like, well, I guess they ain't getting no younger either. Everybody just group hug.
But you're really done. No more babies.
No, I'm done. Okay. Yeah.
So far in your plan.
In my plan, right? I was done now. If y'all see Mary pop up with another one.
But that's another thing too. Try never to say never, because when we say never, God will find a way. You say never about something.
I never want a puppy.
Yeah.
Okay. Just throwing that out there. Just put that in the universe.
That's so funny.
So scared of a cute little puppy.
Yeah, terrified.
Yeah.
I am so glad you were on the show with me today. You are welcome back here anytime you want. Moving forward, your career. What are your thoughts? Acting. What is your thing? Hosting, modeling. What do you want to do? Talk to us about this.
I want to do whatever, wherever I'm meant to be. That's what I want to do, because it's going to be a good time. I've learned that. Like, if I just trust, I don't want to say the process, because I don't know what the process is sometimes, but if I just trust God's plan and just knowing that he's going to order the steps, and that's where I am with it now. Because when I tell people, I'm like, I'm taking acting classes and I'm a model too, they're like, what? I'm like, that's what I said.
Well, have they seen your photos? My goodness. This woman photographs so beautifully, and my goodness, and you're a fantastic actress, but what's your message? Like, when we're getting platforms for you here and we're getting you out here, what's your biggest message? If you can give something to the youth or to moms, or like, what's your message, Gina? Tell them, girl.
You know what I listen to a lot, and just, you I Can by Nas.
Oh, yeah.
That's my song. Like, if I just need like empowerment, I know I can.
I know how
be what I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, if I work hard at it.
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started. But that's like how, like, if somebody can, even sitting in that jail cell, because I watched the AMAs, the VMAs in prison. Like, I dreamed of, I've never even been to prom. So there's an adult prom going on out here. And I'm going to go just to wear a prom dress for the first time ever in my life.
You are going to an adult prom.
I am.
I love
going to have
that
a prom for the
you.
first time.
Is this something people hold? Like, it's a
it's a party. It's a party.
That is
a guy
so
named
epic.
Twix does it. It's out here in Vegas. I don't know the exact date, but if you look it up, it's Twix, TWIXX. And
how do I know Twix? Maria, how do we know? We know Twix.
Because he's running for
Maria and I know Twix.
He runs for he's I want to say he's a barber too. That's how we know him. My husband and him are
Twix.
so cool.
I think this is familiar. I know Twix. I don't know how I know Twix, but I do.
He's popular, good popular too. He's good people. Yeah, he's running for.
I love how you say good popular.
He's good popular. Yeah,
there's
different populars, but he's good popular. Yeah,
I think I know him.
Running for mayor of North Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, this is all making sense.
I'm sorry,
he's having
Twix,
a prom.
He's having an adult prom. I'll send you all the info.
Twix, you are absolutely amazing. This is incredible. You know how many people I know that would do an adult prom? I've never heard of anything like that before, and that is wonderful.
He's been doing them for a couple of years now, but this will be my first year going. But I always told my husband, I was like, I just want to go to prom. because I never got to go, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's doing an adult one, it's like I can't be a creep going to the high school proms. Now I do want to experience prom, but I don't want to experience it.
She's not doing
creepy. No, and I'm not doing creepy.
Should be at the middle school.
Right. Homecoming.
I have one more.
Then like my kids can't all experience prom before me.
Yeah, that's true.
So my oldest daughter already got me beat. I got to beat these little ones too.
I like it. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Your inner child. You grew up in prison. Today with her, are you living this through your kids, or you treat yourself like a kid sometimes?
My inner child shows its face through my baby girl. Okay? And everybody that sees her, they're like, that's little you. She acts exactly like you. She's stubborn exactly like you. She has your same face. Like, so I look at I'm raising my inner child.
You're mothering her.
Yep.
You're loving her. You're giving her everything, whether you had it or not. You're giving her the right way. You're giving her,
Because I can see where a person could get frustrated, where a parent could get frustrated with that energy.
Absolutely.
Because I get frustrated, but at the same time, I always check myself. Like, that's me. She's a little different from the rest of my kids because God always just kind of redirects. He's like, that's you.
So with your children,
she's your gift to you from you.
So I love how you view this. So with your kids, you already know where God was going with each of your children. Mm-hmm. I love that. That is absolutely amazing. Guys, we have 2 minutes before we have to end the show. But real quick, if you have any other questions, or you even want to Google, is it okay if they Google your story?
Yeah. It's Devonna McDonald.
Devonna McDonald is how you're going to Google. So Devonna McDonald, Google the story. You can see what happened. Here she is today in the flesh. Stunningly beautiful inside and out with a gorgeous family. I love your husband. Amazing husband. My little rat buddy right there. This is a story for me. I look at it and I think, this is it. This is what life is about. This is about God touching people. This is about God saying, you may have gotten off to this kind of start, and this is maybe what it may have looked like. But look what I've taken you through, and look what you've walked through. Yeah. You have put the work in, but he was there to hold you, love you, nurture you, guide you, give you a beautiful family. But it was you who put the work in. It was you who said, I'm going to get up every day and not give up. Because I'm sure giving up was probably, in some of those days, in those earlier days, an option. Like I do, just throw the towel in now. I am in jail as a teenager.
Over in the bed, over here. You see people give up all around you all the time.
Yeah.
It's the easiest option.
Yeah.
It's the easiest option.
The message from me to you guys today, too, and my own personal experience is don't give up. If it feels like, well, this job went through, or I have a drug addiction, or I'm in jail, or wherever you are, whatever you're doing, the boy broke up with you, the girl broke up with you, you don't have good parents, someone's abusing you, whatever your situation is, if you're in a bad marriage, if your kids are giving you a hard time, if you have no money, whatever your situation is, don't give up. God is right there with you. Just have faith. Have faith in yourself, have faith in God, and just have faith in something, even if it's not God, a higher power, someone bigger than you, something bigger than you. And also read The Secret, because that is awesome. Do you still follow some of the stuff with The Secret?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's also a good kind of spin-off from The Secret called What the Fuck Am I Made Of? Or what? But it's basically about
what the fuck physics. Am I made of? That's what it's called.
Or no, What the Bleep. It's just called What the Bleep.
What the bleep am I made of? Okay, and it's the scientific.
Yes.
I never read it yet, but I've heard about it, where it gets like how we're actually made, and our hormones and aromones and pheromones and all that kind of stuff.
And how everything ties together.
Everything ties together.
And how The Secret actually works.
Yeah.
So the physics, physics part.
Prior to the thought.
Yes.
Oh, that is so cool. Mm-hmm. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show. I am honored to have you here. I'm honored to have you in my life. I can't wait to see what our future brings, because this is not ending here. This is we work together now. So I'm excited for your future and what's going to happen. And thank you for telling the story. And I know even if you've impacted and helped one person today, or the last episode that saw you and says, hey, look at this lady's life and she's wonderful, you can make a difference, and that's what this is all about. So thank you so much. Again, shout out Central Christian Church, shout out to Skims and Kim Kardashian for all the work that you do, and of course you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Social media networks, and Maria, thank you so much for even giving this platform, and we will see you next week. Vegas Views.